Tu sais, on a travaillé fort dans notre zone, tu sais, puis garder l'avance à 2 buts. Notre troisième était excellente.
Go to Eric in the front row on the right.
Marty, what do you think it says about your team that with such little time to prepare, you guys had time to prepare, coaching staff, scouting, whatever you were doing, but your players to have such little time and get into those meetings and be able to execute what you're telling them to do,
Yeah.
What does it say about your team?
Yeah, I mean, we knew for a long time if we got through Buffalo, we were playing Carolina. So we were able to have, we had, you know, obviously our analytic people, but, you know, Alex Burrows does a lot of that grunt work for us. And he worked hard while we were trying to close a series against Buffalo. And you got to be careful in giving so much information to players in a short amount of time. You got to pick a couple things and try to address that, and that's what we did. I think we played through identity tonight. That we were nice balance. We let the puck do the work. We were very opportunistic on our chances, but we didn't spend so much time that we took the instinct out of our players. They gotta go out there and you know that it's going to be a long series and you're going to have to get better through the series. You don't need to be perfect. You got to find ways. I thought tonight we played through identity but we did talk about a few things that we had to address before we jumped into this series.
Stay in the front row, Josh.
Marty, Phil Deneau just said the logo's in his DNA.
The what?
The logo of the team is in his DNA. Like as a Quebec guy, as a Montreal guy, what has he meant to your group since he's come back?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel he fills in a chair, a role that we needed. We have some great young player, tons of skill. And we need to have some veteran guys that can play a different role, killing penalties, good on draws. Hard to play against, defensively, and he's brought that for us for sure. And, it took him a little while to get acclimated in how we play, but he's fitting in nicely.
Go backside on the right, Guillaume.
Salut Martin. Tu as dit que tu as beaucoup aimé votre troisième période. Vous avez seulement donné 2 tirs. Qu'est-ce que tu as aimé justement dans cette troisième période-là, dans votre gestion de l'avance?
Je trouve qu'on a contrôlé la rondelle beaucoup. Puis quand on avait à se défendre, on s'est défendu. Je trouve qu'on a été capable d'exécuter à travers leur poussée. On a tué une grosse punition. Puis là, tu sais que le goaler s'en vient de bonne heure. Je trouve qu'on a fait la job.
Stay in the same row, Sean.
I'm sure you're seeing a lot of learning on the fly from this team. What did you see tonight or the days leading up to tonight that got such a different result in Game 1 of this series coming off a 7th game?
Well, it's probably something I didn't see, because my guess is the group felt after Game 1 in Buffalo that emotionally we weren't where we needed to be, if you compare it to the Tampa series. And again, it's not something that I felt personally because I'm not in the dressing room for that long. I come in, speak to the team, but I'm not in there. So my guess is they handled that because that's their own perception. They're in the locker room. They know what they see, feel. So my guess is they handled that on their own. And I feel as a coach, you don't need to try to control everything. You have to lean on your group, the leaders and stuff, and they must have done that.
Go back left, David.
Hey, Marty, just in the middle here. You guys are coming off the back-to-back 7-game series. You managed the players, managed the ice time maybe a little differently than you had in previous games. How much did you look at that when, the forwards no one more than 18 minutes and all defensemen at least 14 minutes? How much did you factor that in?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I felt tonight I wanted to, roll, and I feel like for most part the game allowed me to do that in terms of whistles, penalties. There wasn't a lot of penalties called, so we could stay in the rhythm. I wanted rhythm tonight and come in waves and trust the brand that we can play collectively. Of course, in some icing, sometimes you'll get the right people there on the offensive side of things. But I felt like coming off, 7-game series, short amount of time, I felt tonight it was important that we come in waves, and I thought we did that.
Front left, Dan.
Marty, you touched on you were opportunistic on your chances, especially in the first period. Did you get a sense on the bench at all that your team recognized that they had the opposition a little bit out of sorts, and it was time to take advantage of that?
I just think we were really good at being ready for the next thing, because, the puck goes in the net, but there's a lot of things that happen along the way to get the puck in the net. And I feel we were very organized and ready for the next thing that kept the continuity to be able to manufacture great scoring chances. And I think, when we're ready for what's next, in the second period, what's next was actually defending hard. And so I think we take a mindset of just, playing the game that's in front of you, and are you ready for the next thing? I don't know what the game's going to ask you. Is this an offensive touch? Is this a defensive touch? I don't know. And I felt we did that offensively. We did that in the first period.
Go third row on the right, Arpin.
Marty, you went back to some very familiar pairings on defense tonight. Just can you talk us through that decision to bring Struble in, put him with pairings that you're very familiar with?
I was talking to David about that. I want to have rhythm and waves. So I felt like the pair, there's some familiarity in the pairs that we had tonight, and I felt like we weren't going to get so consumed about matchup. Can we just find a way to get into a rhythm here and asking everybody to be alert and who they're on the ice again, but just trust the brand that we can play together and come in waves, and that's what we did.
Go second row on the right, JF.
Salut Martin. Tu disais ce matin que tu avais confiance devant ton premier trio, produire éventuellement 5 contre 5. Tu aimais le fait qu'ils n'ont pas triché dans les 2 premières séries, qu'ils gardaient un bon jeu défensif. De le faire au premier match d'une série, à quel point ça peut les aider sur le plan mental?
C'est sûr, la confiance, ça l'aide le joueur. Je trouve qu'ils ont joué un excellent match. C'est sûr, c'est le résultat qui est sur la fiche de pointage, ça lève la confiance. Mais moi, j'ai aimé comment ils ont géré le match, comment ils sont défendus, comment ils ont respecté nos règlements. Ça a été un excellent match d'eux autres. Je suis content qu'ils se font récompenser.
Take 2 more for coach, front left.
Yeah, you guys are 7-2 on the road in the playoffs. Just what's gone into making this team such a good road team?
I feel it, I don't think it's one thing, I feel like we're probably a little confidence from how the season went for us on the road, so I think we believe that we, and we know you don't get the matchup sometimes on the road, and you got to trust that the guys can just, like I always say, play the game that's in front of them, understanding who's on the other side, who's on the ice while that's happening, and we, as much as young players, they love to have these offensive touches, and I think sometimes it's just not what the game's giving you right now. You got to defend, and I think our defensive game has evolved and improved, over the last few years. I think that's allowing us to be a good road team.
We'll finish on the right side, front row.
Bonsoir Martin. On parlait de style de jeu ce matin. Votre équipe base beaucoup son style justement sur la vitesse, sur l'exécution. En première période, votre vitesse était très apparente. Quels sont les éléments qui font que vous avez été en mesure de prouver justement à quel point vous êtes une équipe rapide, notamment en première?
Mais je pense que c'est l'équilibre sur la glace, la prédictibilité aussi, c'est qu'on va être, puis être capable d'exécuter la prochaine chose. Puis pour faire ça, il faut que tu joues la game dans le futur. Il ne faut pas que, la minute que tu touches la rondelle, c'est quoi je fais avec ça. Ta décision est quasiment déjà prise. Ça allait de la continuité, puis là, ça montre la rapidité à cause de ça, si tu es capable d'exécuter.
Merci beaucoup, Martin.
OK, merci.
Thank you.